The employees in the Operations Support Bureau are dedicated and understand that while they're not out there in uniform directly impacting a call for service, they're so dedicated to ensuring that their individual task is completed thoroughly and in the best manner that it can be. They understand that without proper paperwork, without ensuring that warrants are put into the system and taken out of the system at the right times, ensuring that they are doing their job in an exceptional manner, that citizens aren't getting the service that they need and that they deserve. So talking to the employees within the Operations Support Bureau, it just gives you a really good feeling that they're dedicated, they're devoted, they love their jobs, and they understand the critical nature of what they do. Hello, my name is Adrian Vasquez. I'm the Deputy Chief over the Operations Support Bureau. I've been here with the Colorado Springs Police Department for about 26 years now. The Operations Support Bureau is really what the name implies. There's a lot of things that have to be accomplished behind the scenes to support patrol operations or to support the specialized enforcement divisions or specialized divisions. Everything from records and ID to communication center for dispatch and call taking is handled within my bureau, and it supports all of the other actions that happen across the department. So the Operations Support Bureau is comprised of several divisions within it. The first division is the Professional Standards Division. That encompasses about 7 different sections within it. The Management Services Division, the Communication Center, or better known as Dispatch, our Research and Development Division, our Fiscal Services section, and our Human Relations section. So the Professional Standards Division is made up of about 7 different sections. I think everybody, when they hear professional standards, they think of internal affairs. And internal affairs is certainly one part of the Professional Standards Division. They deal with incoming complaints and allegations of misconduct, our early intervention program, and things like that. But Professional Standards is also made up of our evidence and impound unit. They take in a tremendous amount of evidence and dispose that evidence at the proper time, as well as vehicles that are impounded or stored for various reasons. We also have our Public Affairs section, which deals with media relations and a lot of different public relations messaging that we have for our organization coming in and going out. We also have our Community Relations unit, which does a tremendous amount of work with our community to build relationships, build rapport, and make sure that our citizens have a good sense of what the police department is about. We also have our Professional Development and Compliance section. This is relatively new, the professional development piece of this, which is an internal course that we have established to help our employees have an opportunity to really develop themselves from a leadership perspective and a management perspective to make the organization and themselves better. The compliance section really deals with our policies. We have a lot of legal restrictions that are placed on us by legislation, as well as policy, CALEA standards, and practice that we've developed here within the organization. And this section helps us ensure that our policies are kept up to date. We also have a wellness program. Our wellness program falls under our Professional Development and Compliance section, and the wellness section really just cares for our employees, make sure during critical incidents or during everyday stressful jobs that they have resources available to them to get help if they feel like they need it, or just to talk to somebody and make sure that their mental health is in order. And we also have our staff psychologist that falls within the Professional Development section. Management Services is another large division comprised of a lot of smaller sections and units. Information Technology falls within Management Services, and that is our employees who really make sure that all of our technology and infrastructure around everything we do from a records perspective or from our CAD system up at Dispatch is healthy, is working properly, and they interface with information technology at the city level. We also have our logistics support section, which deals with all of our facilities. We have several facilities in the police department that have everyday operational needs impacting them, and those facilities need to make sure that they are fixed. Our fleet and our supply are also housed under the logistics support section. We have our records and identification section, which deals with a huge amount of records that come into the organization through police officers and other sources, as well as being maintained for courts and other requests made by the public. We have our technical team, which is a 5-person unit, a sergeant and 4 officers that primarily work out in the divisions to make sure that all the technology from computer systems to body-worn cameras are maintained appropriately, and if an officer is having an issue with any of that equipment, the tech team helps fix those issues. Our body-worn camera section deals with all of the intake of information from our body-worn cameras and redaction and retention of all of the records maintained or created by our body-worn cameras. Our training academy is made up of 2 different areas. The recruit side of the training academy, every time we have new recruits coming into the department, they train them in our academy, as well as ongoing training for our officers who have been on for years and need to keep up with the most current training. And lastly, our CAPS program, which is our volunteer program. So our communications center is made up of 3 entities. They're CSPD employees or police employees, Colorado Springs Fire Department employees, and our ambulance service or AMR. All of those are housed within our communications center, and they're broken up into different categories. Our call takers or ERTs are the individuals that receive the calls, whether they be 911 emergency calls or non-emergent calls, take in all of the information and start interacting with the citizen who's calling in. As they're doing that, they're sending information through our system to our dispatchers. Our dispatchers are taking that information in and deploying resources, whether they be fire or police or ambulance services for medical only calls, to the right location within the city. So our call takers and our dispatchers truly are our first responders. They've just been given that designation as first responder by our city council because of the impact that they have on our citizens. When a citizen is in need of help, something's gone wrong in their life, they call 911 or 444-7000 and they get a call taker on the phone. Our call takers do everything from help with CPR, help guide deliveries of babies, and take information in from our public and really help calm the public down and ensure them that they're going to get the right resources to the scene. Our dispatchers are the ones that get the officers and the ambulance and fire people to those calls for service to make sure that they're cared for appropriately. Yes, the Operations Support Bureau truly is mostly civilian. The majority by far of each of the divisions within the Operations Support Bureau are civilian, with the exception of the Training Academy and Professional Standards Division. Our Operations Support Bureau is really exclusively civilian, handling all of the administrative functions in records and ID. The Comm Center is all civilian, so we're heavily reliant on our recruiting for civilian personnel within the Operations Support Bureau. There are a lot of sections within Operations Support that deal directly with our community. When we think about our evidence technicians, our impound technicians, our communications center call takers, really all of those individuals are the face of the organization. They're the individuals within the department that are directly involved with the citizens on a lot of topics that really are stressful for citizens. Getting vehicles impounded can be very stressful, and how can they navigate getting their vehicle back? Or what about evidence that's taken in from loved ones from a case that was impacting that individual. There's just a direct interface between our citizens and our civilian staff. Without the Operations Support Bureau, we really would not be able to complete our mission with the Colorado Springs Police Department. Everything that our officers and our detectives do, everything that our comm center does, our records and ID section does, is in true support of our officers. And the officers wouldn't be able to respond to calls for service. They wouldn't be able to create records in case reports. They wouldn't be able to intake evidence nearly as efficiently without all of the support that the Operations Support Bureau does. So in effect, without the Operations Support Bureau, we wouldn't be able to operate effectively or efficiently within the organization.